Hey YouTube, we have got a great video for you today. I have stumbled upon, and by stumbled upon I mean I was linked directly to, a new YouTuber. Not really a new YouTuber, but new to me because I don't watch that much YouTube. His name is Phantom Strider, and amongst a bunch of top lists, he has a couple videos that I thought would be fun about controversial and or expensive Lego sets. So today we are going to watch a video about the most controversial Lego sets, of which I don't really understand how they can be controversial, and we're going to see how it goes. I think it would be a good time. If you enjoy the video, subscribe. If not, hey, we move on. Like many people, my parents divorced when I was a kid, when I was like, what, 3 years old, something like that. And I had a different set of rules based on which house I was at. You guys see a lot of dad's house stands. That is video game stands. That is raunchy comedy stands. That is the stands that sits before you. But at my mom's house, under a different set of rules, the engineer flourished. And I don't say that lightly. The only things I was allowed to do at my mom's house were read books, yuck, cringe, and play with Legos. And so when my editor sent me a video, the 10 banned/controversial Lego sets, you thought I was gonna skip it? Not a fucking chance, ladies and gentlemen. The real Stanz.
Howdy. Do you remember Lego? Howdy.
That's exactly how a Lego kid says hi, by the way.
Howdy. Do
Howdy.
you remember Lego? Yeah, sorry, that was a really dumb thing to ask you. But the point is that Lego's been around for a good portion of many people's childhoods.
Xavier, the tier 1.
And during that time, they produced 15,824 different sets. But sometimes these sets have ended up with backlash, and may have even been removed from distribution altogether.
Was there ever like a Lego blackface or something? Is there really controversial Legos? Is that what we're gonna get into? I can't tell if this is going to be like, that's an illegal Lego formation. You know, who people say that you're not supposed to put pieces like in a certain way? Or is this going to be like feminist Lego? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know where we're going here.
And today, I thought we could have some fun looking back at these. So let's check out the 10 banned or controversial Lego sets. For number 10, the Lego Simpsons set. Back in 2014, Lego planned to launch a Simpsons-themed Lego set. Because, well, it's a Simpsons. It's easy to list what they don't brand in merchandise rather than what they do.
Look for a winning Simpsons video game for every system.
Don't forget Krusty's Funhouse.
However, some Lego fans were fuming mad over this. In fact, petitions were started on message boards, calling on Lego to avoid any Simpsons-themed toys. To quote one message, they said, "I say no to Lego Simpsons. Simpsons is not appropriate for Lego-themed audiences."
Lick my balls, Simpson fans. What does that even mean?
Which puzzled me to hear, so I dug a little deeper and I did find an interesting study. A New Zealand research paper found that, compared to previous years, today's Lego characters are looking increasingly angry and carrying more weapons than ever.
Oh shit.
And while this might be true, I personally think this has to do with society and culture changing over decades, not just Lego. But I'm certainly no expert on the subject, and if you have an opinion on it, I'd love to hear it in the comments.
Chat, we do live in a society.
As you can probably guess, Lego Simpsons can now be found in every direction you look. They even had their own separate expansion in the Lego game, Lego Dimensions. And I think it's important to point out, a good portion of Lego fans were really excited to see Simpsons come to
Is Lego Dimensions goated? That looks kind of fun.
Lego. One fan...
Or is Lego Dimensions, which one was the one that was Minecraft? Because that one seemed kind of cringe, but that game looked fun.
Even stated, it's about time, they're already the right shade of yellow. And indeed they are. And for number 9, the Lego V22 Osprey. Lego has always had a strong policy of never building anything that is used specifically for war. And
Lego Worlds is what I'm talking about? Oh, got it.
And how many helicopters...
I would love to watch Lego Masters. That's where they actually, the Brick Masters, they make cool shit. I would love that. I liked Legoland as a kid. I've always wanted to go back.
...and vehicles they've released.
I probably got my Legoland driver's license somewhere around here. I was a Lego kid, chat. Some of you don't know that about me.
I'm guessing that...
I was a Ninjago for Halloween once. I'm sure my mom can find a picture. Straight up Lego Ninjago.
must be difficult to keep track of. In this case, the set was cancelled before it could even be released.
Oh.
You see, this tilt-rotor aircraft known as the Osprey is used by the US Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, and Japanese self-defense forces. So there was no way Lego could claim it was a search and rescue machine. It was a war machine or a peacekeeping machine. Before the V-22 V22 could be released, the German Peace Society issued a warning against LEGO releasing the licensed V22. Their concern was that even though LEGO had rebranded it Search and Rescue, with the military license on the set, customers were potentially helping to finance arms companies. So just 10 days before the vehicle was meant to be released to retailers, LEGO suddenly pulled the V22 release from all.
Did you guys ever play with Connects? Connects was like lame kid Legos, you know what I mean? Like, Lego kids were already a little bit lame, but if you were also like a Turbo Verge, you would have Connects. And I will tell you, I loved Connect.
While the set is intended for search and rescue, the aircraft is only used by the military. We have a long-standing policy to not create sets that use real military vehicles. So we decided not to release this product. We think it's important to...
Why is he Richard Nixon in this?
Military vehicles. So we decided not to release this product. We think it's important to uphold...
I am not a crook.
...our brand values. End quote. And I don't know why LEGO sounds like Nixon.
Oh my god, what? Pre-watch Perry is back.
Number 8. LEGO Jabba's Palace. Huh. Jabba's Palace? Really? Well, I'll explain it.
Is it gonna be Leia's too sexy for Lego?
As best I can. Basically, a Turkish community forum complained to LEGO that Jabba's Palace set resembled a mosque in Istanbul. And that the character Jabba the Hutt resembles a terrorist? Really?
How does he resemble a terrorist?
I thought Jabba was a crime lord, according to Star Wars lore anyway. But these particular people in this community claimed LEGO of racism. They thought the LEGO set might offend Muslims, and it was purposely made to look like the mosque in Istanbul. But really, I think that's an insult to the Hagia Sophia. That thing's beautiful compared to Jabba's palace. It's a world-renowned mosque. Now, while I realize I give the limited perspective of a well-off white male, I've always personally seen Jabba as a less cultured version of the Godfather. He's the slimy head of a cultural crime ring. But that's just me.
Leia's resting bitch face is so funny. Look at that.
Anyway, LEGO denied any link and said the set was based on, shocker, the Star Wars movies. You know, the name of the title in the board. I guess it was just an unhappy accident? LEGO's response was, quote, "We regret that the product has caused the members of the Turkish cultural community to come to a wrong interpretation, but point out that when designing the product, only the fictional content of the Star Wars saga was referred to."
Oh, that's clever.
And for number 7, the LEGO Explore Super Truck. This one is pretty
What's wrong with the Super Truck?
straightforward. LEGO received more than 10 reports of the Super Truck wheels coming off, leaving us with a big nasty metal axle. Apparently, 2 kids received serious puncture injuries because of these metal axles. And who in their right mind actually puts metal axles on LEGO Duplo? That stuff's either going to be smashed or in someone's mouth. There's no in between. Number 6. The LEGO Shell Sets. Do you remember back in 2014? I know, it was a simpler time, wasn't it? But you might
Wait, Shell the gas station?
recall at some Shell stations, you could get Shell-branded LEGO on the shelves. For a while,
That's crazy.
these LEGO Shell sets were all the rage. But Greenpeace was less than pleased. Why? Well, Shell was planning to explore the Arctic to drill for oil. And Greenpeace felt LEGO was affiliating itself with this very controversial decision by making Shell-branded LEGO sets. In fact, Greenpeace released a viral video that showed dead LEGO animals in the Arctic as they were flooded by oil.
That's actually goated. What a commercial. Look at this. The baby is drowning in oil.
With a less than subtle,
Actually based.
sad song playing in the background. In the end, Greenpeace was successful in their campaign, and LEGO ended their partnership with Shell. I just felt this ad was a bit emotionally manipulative.
Was that Jon
to
Snow?
encourage pro-climate action. I just felt this ad was...
What's going on here? Is Direwolf's gonna drown?
Anyway,
Oh, wow.
it's a very complex issue. Personally, I'd love to see Shell invest in more of their renewable energy projects like the Gungari Solar Project.
Dude, is this guy in the pocket of big oil? Is Shell paying him? Are you kidding me?
That thing looks awesome. And for number 5, the Mr. Gold LEGO minifigure. Greed doesn't always bring out the best in some people. Back in 2010, LEGO got the brilliant idea to turn some of their minifigures into limited collectibles. And each series of 16 or so minifigures would come in a little mystery blind bag where you could get a random minifigure. So every...
Overwatch League did this. I remember my first, I'm going to tell you guys that I'm a dirty scammer. They had these mystery kind of clip things in Overwatch League, and it would be one of the characters, right? Like a Mercy or a Reinhardt or something like that. And I was like, I really want the gold one. And because I was with like an Overwatch League team, the person at the counter was like, you want a gold one? Which character? I said Reinhardt. They went to the back and just gave me one. Get scammed, losers.
In 2013, to hype up LEGO collectors even more, LEGO introduced a very limited amount of the unique, dreaded Mr. Gold minifigure. You know, a bit like the Golden Ticket campaign with Wonka. And oh boy, with only 5,000 existing, many people really wanted this minifigure.
Oh my gosh, here he is, Mr. Gold. Oh my gosh.
It probably didn't help that scalpers on eBay could easily sell one of these for at least $1,000 a piece. Demand was so overwhelming for these little golden trinkets that people even started producing fake ones to sell on eBay. Thus, the notorious chaos of Mr. Gold began. To put it in perspective for you, across the world there are far more than 5,000 determined LEGO completionists. With only 5,000 genuine Mr. Golds in existence...
A completionist is someone who wants what, like every set?
How would they ever complete their collection? What was the point anymore if their collection was missing one tiny fake gold minifigure? In all seriousness, having OCD myself, I can certainly empathize with this frustration. But things only got worse from here. Sadly, this ridiculously high rarity led to mass greed and corruption. Prior to putting them on shelves, some store employees would feel up bags to look for Mr. Gold minifigures. And sometimes they just snitch it themselves before even putting it on the shelf.
Damn.
Well, yeah, I guess it does make sense that LEGO enthusiasts are in fact working at the LEGO store. Many collectors believe this was one of LEGO's worst ideas, and personally I can agree on that. When finally the chaos was over and the public sat licking their wounds, LEGO looked over the fires and ashes and said, "Good. The dark side is strong." Nah, I'm just joshing you. They also thought it was a disaster. As far as I've seen after this, LEGO never ever did another limited edition character in the minifigures line. In fact, you can't find a single mention of the LEGO Mr. Gold minifigure on the website. Both LEGO and many collectors wanted to forget that Mr. Gold ever existed. Good on them. But before we move on, let's just see how much this little devil is worth in 2021. Well, let's see. Holy cow, $5,000 to $7,000.
Woo! $5,000 to $7,000.
That's a
To be
freaking
honest,
house to...
That's not that much for like something that's that limited in a collector's market that I assume is relatively hot. Legos.
Number 4. LEGO Friends. Yowza, where to begin with the controversy these LEGO ladies have caused? Well, to start with, personally, I've always seen LEGO as a more universal product. I guess it could be seen as a guy's product, but that being said, I saw plenty of...
I feel like LEGO historically has been like, hey, boys and girls like LEGO.
Girls playing with LEGO as a kid, not just guys.
It's a unisex story. It's anyone. Lego's for everyone.
It's to be built by any age
people
or
with
any gender that wants to. But the controversy rose in 2012 when LEGO started producing the LEGO Friends line.
New LEGO Friends. Welcome to beautiful Heart Lake City.
A LEGO set of pink slim girls doing cupcakes and tea parties and shopping and that sort of jazz.
I'm Stephanie. I'm going to a party at the new cafe with my friend.
You know, I feel like if they were regular minifigs, it's totally fine to have a baking Lego set or like cool houses. The fact that they made like new minifigs for this makes it feel very weird.
Olivia.
A lot of that sort of female branded stereotypical stuff, in the US and UK particularly, campaign groups are upset by the overuse of pink and the more stereotypical female activities the characters would be given. For example, at the forefront of the campaign was the group Pink Stinks, which I actually feel has a pretty cool name. Their comments included, "We want toys that offer many opportunities to children, not just cupcakes and parties."
Do you want to swim? Nice idea, Andrea. Let's build the pool.
But the controversy didn't stop there. Then there was a petition by the Spark movement. They managed over 50,000 signatures pushing LEGO to change their marketing strategy. But LEGO seemed to know they were sitting on a gold mine and held their ground. In addition, some eating order specialists had concerns concerns about how incredibly slim some of these LEGO Friends minifigures were. LEGO Friends even got nominated for a Worst Toy Toady Award. Toady standing for toys that are oppressive and destructive to young children. Despite the controversy, LEGO Friends was a downright massive success.
Really?
In fact, LEGO's net profits rose by 35% that year. And when you're dealing with hundreds of millions of dollars, that's a lot of scratch. In fact, LEGO Friends was so astoundingly successful that other block companies like Mega Bloks introduced girl dolls as well. Over the years, sales in the LEGO Friends department continued to skyrocket. And in the end, LEGO Friends is one of the most successful LEGO lines the company's ever had. And for number 3, the LEGO Assault on Hoth set. When
They have
LEGO
two Star
brands
Wars sets?
something the Ultimate Collector's set, they are directly reaching out to their adult fans. And when you're asking for adult LEGO fans' money, they're probably going to scrutinize a little bit more than the kids if you don't put some care into that LEGO production. And I can say, fans hated this set to no end. It was perhaps the most negatively received LEGO set in the company's history. According to critics, almost every section of this set was rife with issues. Some critics even felt cheated because this Hoth set was such a mess. People even complained the box artwork was a mess. And who can blame them? This set is strewn out like a bomb went off. Even the instructions requested that builders combine the set with discontinued LEGO products. People weren't pleased because they could see corners were cut, and a general lack of care was put into this fairly expensive Star Wars set. Number 2.
Not a lot to say about
In
that
June
one.
2020, LEGO pulled back on their marketing and product listing for a certain kind of playset.
At Lego City Police Station, the crooks are breaking out.
Yeah, you can probably guess. Up to that point, LEGO police sets had always been, very common. They were a dime a dozen. That is, until 2020. You may remember the tragedy with George Floyd occurred, and many Black Lives Matter protests were happening all over the globe. Suddenly, LEGO police handcuffs were just harder to come by. Even now, I tried looking up some of the original June listings on the LEGO website, but I was just greeted with a big 404 page and
Interesting.
Emmett looking dismayed at me. Toy Book wanted more information though, so they reached out to LEGO.
Yeah,
requesting
firemen got
more
fucked over.
information. And the LEGO spokesperson response was,
AFAF.
quote,
All
requested
firemen are
that our
friends.
And honestly, if supporting Blackout Tuesday was LEGO's goal, good on them for standing with people to stand against racism and police brutality. And without a doubt, the number 1 LEGO
Was that controversial? I feel like that was just like, oh, Lego did a thing.
controversy is Konzentrationslager. Down.
This is fake. This is not real. This is not a thing that exists.
The number 1 LEGO controversy is
I don't believe you.
Konzentrationslager. Down. So, back in 1996, LEGO accidentally sponsored a particular LEGO artistic project for a museum exhibit. Polish artist Zbigniew Libera's depiction of a LEGO Nazi concentration camp for display in the Jewish Museum of New York.
Okay.
I gotta say, LEGO and Nazis is two
I mean, that would be they didn't sell it, so this seems reasonable.
words I didn't think I'd be using in the same sentence, and I hope to never again. Funnily enough, depicting LEGO genocide made some people particularly uncomfortable. Libera made a fully packaged LEGO project for the museum. Originally, LEGO was happy to sponsor it, not realizing what they were sponsoring. Or they were sponsoring the fake package sets of the LEGO Auschwitz camp. And very quickly, LEGO was deeply regretting saying this work of Zbigniew Libera was sponsored by LEGO. But I will note on the package, this was not a case where they said they proudly sponsored his work. Originally, LEGO requested that Libera not show the LEGO set to public, though eventually they did drop the matter altogether. But as you can imagine, this gave LEGO some very bad press. And I imagine there were very many explanations from them that they did not request Libera or commission him to make this set. As you can imagine, some people were kind of split on the artistic value of this exhibit project. Some people felt it was trivializing the experience of people in Nazi camps, which is completely understandable perspective. And I gotta say, there's something kind of uncanny about seeing toys from your childhood turned into a representation of one of the most horrific events in human history. For example, the
God,
skeletons.
the skeletons
that
are
came
crazy.
of one of the
That's
most
what I was just gonna
horrific
say,
events
man. You see him on the box there, and then he goes into
in
it.
human history. For example, the skeletons that came from Lego pirates were used
I mean, if
for
it's in
prison.
a Jewish Holocaust history museum, and it's something that you think needs to be for all ages, maybe this is a way to try and begin to explain something that happened to your people and in your culture. You know, I'm not Jewish. I don't want to speak for anyone here, so I don't know if this is cringe or not, but it feels like if it was a Jewish guy doing it for a Jewish Holocaust museum.
For a while, the Jewish Museum of New York
The museum was definitely not pro-Nazi, let's be clear.
put these sets in an exhibit of Nazi imagery of modern art. Ugh. This existed. This is by far the most controversial Lego set Lego, albeit accidentally, ever sponsored. No question, no challenge whatsoever. The most controversial. This was one of the most uncomfortable things for me to ever talk about. So, as you can probably see,
That was
Lego's had a lot
wild.
of versatility over the decades. And do you
I think the
personally
best
have
one
any
is the
favorite
shell
Lego
oil
sets?
one. The Lego minifig movie talking about how oil is
Games
killing
or
people.
shows? I'd say
Goated.
some of my
Nothing like a little juggling credits section. That was a good video. Don't mind me just juggling down here.